What's up, BuzzReelers, and welcome back to the channel. We always bring you the hottest scoops, and today is no different. We're diving deep into the shadowy world of Starfleet's most secretive organization, Section 31. And let me tell you, I've got some insider info on the new Star Trek Section 31 movie that drops January 24th, 2025 on Paramount Plus that'll blow your minds.
This is a big one.
It is?
We know Star Trek usually paints this picture of a utopian future, but Section 31 is like this hidden underbelly operating in the shadows, doing whatever it takes to keep the Federation safe, even if it means bending the rules, sometimes shattering them.
Yeah. So picture this former Emperor Philippa George chilling out running her nightclub on the fringes of Federation space. Like she's trying to enjoy retirement after, ruling an entire empire in the mirror universe.
Right.
But as we all know, you can't really retire from Section 31.
It makes you wonder how an organization like that recruits people. Do they scout for specific talents, or do they take ordinary people and mold them into these operatives who can make the tough calls? We've got a whole team to unpack here.
Yeah, we do. So first up, we've got Elok Sahar. This guy is a strategic genius, like the brains behind the whole operation. He's always steps ahead, like a chess grandmaster, making sure everything falls into place.
And he's got a diverse team, each with their own unique set of skills. We've got Quasi-Cameloid, who can literally shapeshift into anything. Imagine the possibilities.
Right. Need to infiltrate a high-security facility.
Yeah.
No problem for Quasi. He can blend in like a chameleon, maybe even disguise himself as a potted plant if he wants to.
Exactly. Then we've got Fuzzy, the resident muscle of the team. This Vulcan, or maybe a Romulan, has some serious anger issues. But don't let that fool ya. He's got a tactical mind that's as sharp as his punches. He's the one you want by your side in a firefight.
For sure. And what about Zeph? This guy is a walking testament to the Federation's advanced technology. He's got cybernetic enhancements that give him crazy abilities, pushing the boundaries of what's humanly possible.
And then there's Melly, a Deltan empath. She's got the power to read and manipulate emotions, making her a valuable asset for both gathering intelligence and influencing decisions.
Talk about psychological warfare. With Melly on your side, you've got the upper hand in any negotiation or interrogation.
Absolutely. And rounding out the team is Rachel Garrett, a Starfleet liaison. Now, her presence is really intriguing because she's a key figure in Star Trek history.
Whoa, so her involvement in Section 31 has huge implications. Could this movie be setting up some major events that we'll see play out in the future of Star Trek? It definitely makes you think.
It's no coincidence that the writers chose to include her in the story. They're clearly weaving together past and future events, hinting at a bigger, interconnected narrative across the Star Trek universe.
This movie is directed by Olatunde Osunsanmi, the guy behind The Fourth Kind. So we know he can deliver the chills and suspense. And it's written by Craig Sweeney, who's known for shows like Elementary. He's got a knack for weaving complex plots and morally ambiguous characters, which is perfect for Section 31.
Now, all this talk about Section 31 really makes you think about the whole ends justify the means philosophy. Do you think it's ever okay to cross ethical lines, even if it's to protect the greater good? Where do you draw the line?
That's the big question. What do you think, BuzzReelers? Let us know in the comments. Do you think Section 31 is doing what needs to be done, or are they crossing a line? And if you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button and subscribe to BuzzReels for more awesome content.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
It's wild how differently Section 31 has been portrayed across the different Star Trek series. Like in Discovery, which is set way back in the 23rd century, they're practically their own mini fleet. They've got ships, uniforms, the whole shebang. It's bizarre seeing them so out in the open.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how they went from being so visible to operating completely in the shadows just a century later. It's like they intentionally wiped their own history clean.
Right. By the time we get to Deep Space Nine in the 24th century, Section 31 is like this whispered legend, a ghost story that Starfleet officers tell each other, to remind themselves that even in a utopian society, there are still dark corners.
It's almost like they're the boogeyman of the Federation, lurking in the shadows, ready to do the dirty work that nobody else will. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about Starfleet and the Federation. What are they hiding? What else are they willing to do to protect their ideals?
Exactly. And that's what makes this new Section 31 movie so intriguing. We know it's going to deal with some major crisis that threatens the very foundation of the Federation. Something so big, so dangerous that even Section 31 is struggling to contain it.
So what could this threat be? We've got the Klingons, the Romulans, the Borg. The galaxy is full of potential enemies who would love to see the Federation crumble. Who or what could push Section 31 to its limits?
Well, we don't have a lot to go on, but we know it's something that forces them to question their own methods. It challenges their beliefs and makes them confront the consequences of operating in the shadows for so long.
Right. It's going to be fascinating to see how Emperor Georgiou handles this crisis. She's already walked the line between hero and villain. So how far is she willing to go to save the Federation? And what will it cost her team?
Will they be forced to choose between their loyalty to Section 31 and their own personal morals? How do you make those kinds of choices when the fate of the galaxy is hanging in the balance?
And what about the long-term consequences of their actions? Will their choices come back to haunt the Federation in the future? Will they create even bigger problems down the line? It's a slippery slope.
It's the ultimate dilemma.
Yeah.
Do you sacrifice your ideals to protect them?
It's crazy to think about the kind of people you'd need to run an organization like Section 31. You've got to be ruthless, cunning, and willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. Looking at Emperor George's team, it's like they hand-picked specialists, each one bringing something unique to the table.
Yeah, you need that strategic mind like a lock to see the big picture and plan for every possibility. But you also need someone who can adapt on the fly. That's where Quasi comes in with his shape-shifting abilities. He's the ultimate wild card.
And you can't forget about the muscle. Fuzzy might have anger issues, but that just means he's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He's the one you send in when you need to make a statement.
Right. Then you've got Zeph, who represents the cutting edge of Federation technology. His enhancements blur the line between man and machine, giving him abilities that most people can only dream of.
And let's not forget Melly, the Deltan empath. Being able to read and manipulate emotions is a powerful tool, especially in the world of espionage. She can extract information without anyone even realizing it, or plant suggestions to influence decisions.
It makes you wonder, how do they find these people? What kind of training do they go through to become Section 31 operatives? Do they volunteer? Or are they recruited? Maybe some are even coerced into joining.
It's like a shadowy reflection of Starfleet Academy. Instead of learning about diplomacy and exploration, they're learning about deception, manipulation, and how to operate outside the rules.
Right, and all of this goes back to the very foundation of Section 31, shrouded in secrecy and ambiguity. We know they operate under Article 14, Section 31 of the Federation Charter. But what does that really mean? Who wrote that article and why?
It's like a loophole in the Federation's utopian ideals. A way to justify doing the dirty work that nobody else wants to acknowledge. But what happens when that loophole becomes a gaping chasm?
That's the scary part. Section 31 operates in the shadows, but their actions have consequences that can ripple throughout the galaxy. Are they truly protecting the Federation, or are they slowly eroding its core values?
It's a question that this new movie seems to be grappling with. Can you uphold your ideals while compromising your morals? Is the Federation's survival worth sacrificing its soul? These are the big questions that Star Trek Section 31 is going to explore.
It's a reminder that even in a seemingly perfect future, there are always going to be tough choices and gray areas. And sometimes the people making those choices have to operate outside the lines, doing things that others might find morally questionable.
So, buzzreelers, what do you think? Is Section 31 a necessary evil? Or are they a dangerous threat to the very ideals they claim to protect? Let's know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the shadowy world of Section 31, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to BuzzReels for more awesome Star Trek content. We'll see you next time.